Bring it on, babe. Oh shoot, this started recording. And we're live. Hello everybody, my name is Sher from Sher from 2000. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I am going to be doing a dragon tier list featuring two of my guys from Plus Pals, Neil and Jack. Say hello. Say hello to the audience. Hopefully they can hear you.
Hello to the audience.
You know, Cher, I noticed a lack of F-bombs on your channel, so I had to come over here to up your stock of swear words.
Well,
I'm glad I'm here today.
Well, I did say bitch a couple of times in my Britney Spears top 10.
Hey! That's a good first step.
Guys, come on.
Sorry.
Fuck that. We're going all the way today.
Yeah, sorry. So, if you guys didn't know, just because you see a lot of friendly dragons on here does not necessarily mean this is going to be for children. So, if you're wondering why we're going to be talking about dragon tales and we're just going to be spewing out random profanity, please don't watch this for your children. And also, Happy Chinese New Year.
Look, Falcor's right there on the screen, and Falcor swears like a sailor, so they should have known what they were getting into.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Chinese New Year, it's an annual holiday celebrated in China, you know, representing the different 12 animals to bring luck all year round. So for 2024, the year is the dragon, hence that's why we're doing a dragon tier list. And I have 20 dragons here. I know at least most of them. There's a few I may not know. That's why I have two here. I have Jack and Neil here so they can correct me if I make a mistake or I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about. So,
well, the fun thing about a tier list is if later we want to add more dragons, we could do this again.
That's true. That is definitely true. So, like I said, I have 20 dragons. I think 20 is enough. I would have done 12 because, 12 years for like 12 zodiacs or whatever. But I think 20 is a good number. So, with that done out the way, let's get started. I mean, I didn't really label any of them. I just said S to D. I don't even know what to put on here. I just said S tier or D tier. I thought it'd be easier. So, yeah. That's nice.
Fun fact, Cher, this is the first tier list I've ever done.
Really?
So,
yay!
yeah, I've never done one.
Cool.
Wow.
And on my channel. Yay! I'm so happy.
I'm ready to get my dragon on, minus the dungeons.
I totally forgot about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sorry. I know we're doing the dragon tier list. How did I not put it in Dungeons and Dragons? Oh.
Well, here's the thing. We can cover that right now, because I got a couple honorable mentions.
Oh, cool.
Number one is the dragons from Legends of Vox Machina. I don't know if you've seen them. They're some of the coolest designed dragons.
Okay.
There's a dragon that has like vents in its neck, so when it breathes fire, fire comes out of its neck. It's fucking cool as shit.
And it's okay. It doesn't have like asthma or like lung cancer. I'm sorry.
From like a heart. That's about it.
Well, he is called Thordak the Cinder King, so there's a chance the Cinder is referencing his terrible heartburn. Completely possible.
I mean, have you listened to Campaign 1 of Critical Role?
Yeah, also be where we might we might put some dragon puns in here, so that's where we're gonna rank them on the scale.
And my only other honorable mention, because I own an amiibo of this guy, I have to talk about him. We've included one of the Nintendo dragons, but Ridley the Space Dragon is not here. And I love that one because he looks like a pterodactyl.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, that's okay. We got other purple dragons here, so they'll fill the void.
Yeah, what is it? Like, every time I see dragons, they're either purple, green, red, or black. Is it like a... I don't know.
Not enough rainbow dragons out there.
Yeah. I think sort of green ones is sort of as green as the default lizard color, so that's sort of, okay, this is a simple dragon, it can be green.
Okay.
Purple is always sort of associated in Western culture, sort of an expensive color, a royal or regal color, that's why you have a lot of sort of magic that's related to purple. And then red, fire, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Jack, do you have any honorable mentions? I guess since we're doing honorable mentions.
I think off the top of my head, what I thought Neil was going to bring up with the Dungeons and Dragons was in the Honor Among Thieves movie last year. Themberchaud, the big red dragon in that film. It was a very unique dragon. He was just big and round and couldn't really fly, and he just dragged himself around on his belly.
Oh yeah, that was actually one of my favorite movies from last year. I'm so sad it didn't do well.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Chris.
I heard it did pretty good, actually. It's getting a sequel, I believe.
What?
Nice.
Nice. Cool. That was probably my second favorite movie of last year. I mean, Barbie is my favorite. Yeah.
Of course.
But we're not here to talk about Barbie. I already talked about Barbie in my top 10 doll lines. We're here to talk about dragons. And our first dragon, since we're kind of getting out of topic here, first dragon here is Dragon. That's the name. From Shrek, the Shrek franchise. I actually watched the first movie yesterday because I have to do this little charity gig where I dress up as Princess Fiona for breakfast. It's like a little breakfast little charity thing. It's cool. There's gonna be like a bunch of princesses there, so.
Nice. So before the ranking, I do have a question on how we're ranking these. Are we going by design? Are we going by impact on the story? Are we going on how cool these are as dragons? Or a combination of all of that?
Yeah, it's a combination of all of that. It's pretty much like the design, obviously it's like a major factor, and how they impact the story. I'm a little bit nervous when we're gonna get to Mushu because I have some few things I want to say about Mushu. But yeah, pretty much what you just said.
I know who my contender is. I have one person I want to win, and then I have one dragon that I think is going to win.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind
If
of.
either wins, I'll be happy.
I mean, honestly, if we're doing rankings, I'm just kind of doing like based off of school rankings, like how you get like A through F, even though F is not on here.
Well, when talking about Dragon, I think Dragon should be rated relatively high because I don't think Dragon gets a ton of screen time in the Shrek movies, but whenever she does, it's usually a really cool scene. Like when the dragon is revealed and the donkey seduces it. That was fucking hilarious.
I know, that was like, oh, you're a girl dragon. Oh, of course you're a girl dragon.
One of my favorite scenes from Shrek the Fourth is when Rumpelstiltskin has everybody captured, and then he reveals he has Dragon, and Dragon's gonna be the last boss.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
You know, I have not seen Shrek Forever After in like such a long time. I only watched the first two movies back to back only because they're like my favorite of the franchise. Although I keep hearing we're supposed to be getting Shrek 5, so who knows?
I am a Shrek the Fourth defender. I like the last Shrek movie. I
also really like it, but I think it's. I'd say it's either tied second or it's third in my ranking. Two's the best, and it might be tied with the first for me. It is very good.
But we all agree that the third movie is the worst, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. No debate.
I mean,
I will say there are good scenes in the third movie, but in terms of story, it's the worst one by far.
Right. Yeah, Jack, do you have any thoughts about Dragon? Have you seen any of the Shrek movies?
Yeah, I've seen all the Shrek movies. I've seen all the Shrek Halloween specials. I've watched a lot of Shrek. I've seen the musical.
The musical.
And that dragon is fantastic when they bring the puppets out and she's sort of looming over the audience. It's brilliant. But in the movie, Dragon, I'm thinking A tier. I'm thinking it's an iconic design. It's sort of, again, I should say, whenever she pops up throughout the franchise, it's always a great moment. Even because I think, in Shrek 2, she just shows up right at the end to drop off the kids with Donkey.
She shows up just at the very end to reveal the Donkey Dragon babies.
No, Donkey. I asked my mom because I think it was 3 or 4 when the second one came out. I'm like, Mommy, why did Dragon and Donkey have babies? She's like, she couldn't even answer. She's like, I'll tell you when you're older. I'm like, oh.
Dragons are magical. That just happened. There we go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm upset in media we don't have more dragon crossbreeds. I feel like that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to see a dragon cat.
Oh, okay.
Well, Toothless is on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But
I had to get at least one dragon from How to Train Your Dragon because there's just way too many of them. I was like, you know what? Just stick with the one that everyone knows.
Jack, you are speaking my language when you brought up Shrek the Musical, though, because Dragon's representation in that is actually kind of interesting. There were two puppets for Dragon.
Yep.
One being just her neck and her head with a bunch of other pieces of the animatronic around and the singers pretending to be scales of dragon. That's when they sing the song Donkey Pot Pie, which is a pretty good song. But I actually prefer the other one called You're Gonna Stay that she sings to Donkey. Because
Sorry
it's about
about
her
that.
falling in love. It's about her falling in love with him, but it starts off with, oh, you're gonna stay here so I can eat you. Then Donkey seduces her, and then it shifts to, oh, you're gonna stay. I love you. I have someone in my life who can stay now. It's a great moment, and both dragon puppets, in my opinion, look great. I'm right there with you. I think Dragon deserves, at the very least, A. But I feel like an argument could be made for S tier, honestly.
I mean, yeah. So, sorry about that. While you guys were talking, my mom texted me, and I didn't realize my SpongeBob ringtone was like blasted.
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, good, because I'm like, oh shoot, copyright, copyright. Oh, I did not realize that. So I actually really like what you guys said. I really like dragon design. Because obviously we know Shrek is a satire. Did I say satire? Satire. Satire. Obviously poking fun at Disney. I mean, I'm. You guys know I'm a Disney fanatic.
We'd know nothing about that. It's not like we're part of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
We'd know nothing about Disney.
Plug it in, y'all. Plug it in. But DreamWorks and their satire, even other companies too. It's always nice when they kind of poke fun at each other, especially DreamWorks and Disney. They poke fun at each other, but mostly DreamWorks does it. Like especially the first two movies, they like poke fun of how Disney has its typical like love story between a princess and a prince, and they have to slay the dragon and fight off the ogre or whatever. But Shrek makes it his own and puts a little twist on it, like. You know, Fiona, she's actually not only a princess, but she's cursed as an ogre. It's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast type situation. And I honestly, I think for real, I think Dragon was supposed to be based off of Maleficent.
A little bit. I can kind of see it in the face specifically.
Yeah. And then, but they made, again, like, Donkey and Dragon, I forever will pair. Yeah, I ship it. I know they're already shipped and they have babies and all, but yeah. So, my only thing is I just wish they had Dragon just a teeny bit more instead of just like, oh, we got this big flying animal thing, we're just gonna use it on this scene and that's it. Like, I think really, honestly, the only time really Dragon was like super important to the plot wise was, based off of my memory, was the very first movie when they have to rescue Fiona. Because that's part of the task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But other than that, I actually do agree. And I don't mind putting Dragon on A tier.
I will say this. I can't remember a single thing Dragon did in Shrek the Third.
Can't say I remember much of Shrek the Third, to be honest.
Was Dragon in that?
I think probably for a very small. Oh yeah, Dragon was in it because the princesses they were having that little. They were the Zeppelin song and the Barracuda song, and then Donkey rescues Dragon and the baby.
I have a very vague memory of Dragon knocking down a tower or something to kill Prince Charming. But I don't even know if that's accurate.
No, it actually did happen because he was about to kill Shrek, or he thought he killed Shrek, but then he's like, "Mommy," and he gets smashed. But yeah, we're gonna put Dragon in A tier. It's not necessarily finalized, but we'll come back to that later on near the end of the video. So the second dragon is Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. I will say, for those of you who don't know or haven't watched any of my videos, I did rank Maleficent as my favorite Disney villain. I loved her since forever. I mean, yeah, I also love Cruella, Ursula, Hades, Dr. Facilier, Jafar, Scar, which somehow that rhymes for some reason. But Maleficent always has been my favorite just because of her presence. That's my main reason. Her presence when she first appears in the christening scene and she puts the spell on Aurora, the sleeping curse, it's just magnificent. And mind you, this was made in like 1959, so the colors and the energy, it's just thriving. And you guys can't see this, but I have a Maleficent doll that I'm holding up right now, not to show any favoritism or biasm, but yeah, she turns into a freaking dragon and blows from
Where's
fire.
your doll of American Dragon Jake Long, damn it? Where's his doll?
That's an action figure, Neil, and you know it.
I do know it, but I don't care. They're dolls to me.
Yeah, but like I said, Maleficent is like my favorite Disney villain. Yeah, I do wish she appears in a lot more. I know Angelina Jolie has her version of Maleficent. Some people like it, some people don't like it, hence you guys. But you know what? For me, Maleficent, I just love her. I'm sorry about the bias and favoritism, but she's S tier for me. Yeah.
I agree.
I'm gonna be the
I
bad guy.
say yes for this.
Yeah, I'm the bad guy. Okay, well. So, here's the thing. I do love Maleficent. Mostly because I think, and I'm a little biased here because I love Fantasmic, and I think one of the best parts is when the big Maleficent dragon comes out. But here's the thing. I like Maleficent. I think she's a good villain. I think, compared to some of the other characters on this list, Maleficent hasn't gotten a ton of time to shine. I would actually say B. But that's just me personally.
Okay, fair enough.
Up to you guys, though. If you want to put her in S, she's earned that. She is one of the most iconic Disney villains there is. I just think specifically dragon form Maleficent hasn't gotten a ton to do in her own canon, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think, having never been to a Disney park, I've not seen a Maleficent animatronic in person. I see the videos and the pictures online and everything, and it's always very impressive.
Oh yeah, that one time where it was on fire like a bunch of times. I still remember that.
Which is always fun. But no, I think the design, again, granted, it would be nice if we saw more of her as the dragon, which sort of just turns into that for a couple minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, towards the end, fight with Eric, so that they can have that battle.
You're thinking of that's the Ron Disney Prince Jack. It's Philip, not Eric. Eric's the long one.
No, I like it because compared to Dragon, which is sort of from Shrek, I'm going to specify that throughout this video. Compared to Dragon from Shrek, it's sort of almost more sort of a pear-shaped dragon, I would describe it. Sort of the head on a long neck and then a wider body and the narrows again at the tail. Maleficent's dragon has this more serpentine design up through the neck, which I don't quite like, and sort of more spindly and a long snout for the head. It's different design. And giving it the big black spikes, the purple underbelly, and the green magic flames. It's just a great design, I think. Would be nice to see more of it. And Neil, I think you've convinced me to bump her down to an A, just for the lack of screen time.
I will give her bonus points after you brought that up, because it has made me realize that Maleficent is probably the scariest dragon on this list.
Really? Even scarier than Smog?
Yeah, probably.
Like, and I don't really watch any of like The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. I just know a few characters. Also, I have a crush on Benedict Cumberbatch because I have a thing for British people.
I feel like with Smog, I could, I don't know, maybe trick him or sneak around him or something. There's precedent for that. With Maleficent, I feel like she'd just fry me alive instantly with her green fire of doom. But I agree. I think A is a solid compromise.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a couple of times where she did turn into a dragon besides Sleeping Beauty. Like, I know in House of Mouse, which I'm wondering why Disney hasn't yet to put that show on Disney Plus yet, is beyond me. But you know, she turns into a dragon there, and other Disney parks and stuff. I'm sorry, it's still ingrained in my mind where she gets caught on fire. I'm sorry, she definitely burned the entire. Yeah, she burned, baby, burn.
Oh, we'll be talking about burning when we get to the Game of Thrones dragon. We'll be talking about burning.
Oh yeah. So, but you know, honestly, I don't mind putting Maleficent on A. I'll let go of my bias and favoritism just a little bit. But if this was my solo, then yeah, it will be S tier. But because it's a group effort, it's a group effort, I'll put her in A. So now
It's
we
a group
have.
effort, but don't be afraid to pull rank. It's your video.
Yeah, you're the boss here.
I may make a few changes later on at the end of the video. But the next one we have is actually Maleficent's daughter, Mal, from the Descendants franchise. Are you familiar with Descendants, Jack?
I have seen the first film, and I am aware that the others exist.
Okay, so...
Oh, dude, the others are so trippy. Watch them once.
Yeah, so, again, I mean... I talked about Descendants a little bit in my doll line. I know there's some type of controversy with that in Ever After High. It's another doll line. It's by the same people that did Monster High. But with Descendants, you know, Mal is the daughter of Maleficent, so obviously she would have some of her powers. And I'll try to break it down just a little bit. Mal, her parents are Maleficent and Hades. It's revealed in the third movie that Hades is her father. As if we didn't know that already. If anyone's seen the episode of House of Mouse, you know what I'm talking about. Just saying. You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're saying, and I've seen that episode. Did they flirt or something?
Yeah, no, Hades wants to take Maleficent out on a date, and Mickey tries helping him get a date with Maleficent.
Aww. I need to check that out now. That's kind of cute.
If it's available. I mean, again, Disney, why haven't you have House of Mouse on Disney Plus yet? Also, where's Aladdin, the TV series? I have some questions.
Is that still not on there?
So,
with Mal...
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. We gave Maleficent a lower ranking because of lack of screen time in terms of being a dragon. Mal has like one scene as a dragon, and it does not last long, and she doesn't do much cool stuff. Mal has a character I really like. Mal has a dragon I feel like is going to go lower on the list for me personally. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a Disney Channel movie, so obviously, budget-wise, it's kind of... yeah. But I do remember in the first movie, Maleficent does turn into her dragon form. And in the second and third movie, Mal turns into a dragon, near the end, of course. But there was
she turns into a dragon in the second movie, too? I completely forgot that.
No, because in the scene where she's battling against Uma...
Oh, yeah, that does happen.
At the end, and then in the third movie, she turns into a dragon, but Hades, I guess, steals her powers. And then she turns into a dragon again to fight off Audrey, who is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty. Because she was upset that she wasn't going to be queen.
Again, Jack, Descendants 2 and 3 are a fucking trip. You gotta watch them. But I would say...
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
No, just because having only seen the first, I have not seen her as a dragon. I just did a quick Google image search before this video came up. I do like the design. The design's quite good.
For a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not seeing it in motion. I don't know how good it actually looks and how well it's animated. But just the still I'm looking at, it's a good dragon design. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, it's a Disney Channel movie. I'm sure it's very poorly integrated.
Oh, yeah.
Just visually, I give it a thumbs up. Yeah.
I'd give it a C in terms of ranking. I don't think it's a bad. Almost said bad dragon. I don't. I don't think it's a bad design or anything, but of the other things on this list, like there are some really iconic characters here. I don't think Mal's dragon form stands with them. I'd say C at the most C.
Yeah, I don't mind B or C, honestly. I just think her mother has the better form. Just saying.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't seen the movie where this happens, so I'm gonna take a step back, but just say visually gets the thumbs up.
Okay.
Also,
Sorry.
since she's Hades' kid too, she could have like blue flames coming off her head and shit. That'd be neat.
Well, I know in the third movie, like Hades has this like this ember gem or crystal, whatever, and she can only use the powers half because she's half Hades. It's a weird plot hole thing. I don't even understand it, and I like the sentence. Honestly, the third movie is the weaker of the three, just in my opinion.
It's one of the most fun though. The
Yeah.
third one's one of the most fun.
Yeah, but it's in my mind, it's definitely the weakest.
I agree. Probably.
But again, R.I.P. Cameron Boyce. I gotta say it. I'm sorry. The dude
Yeah.
was so lovable. He was so sweet.
Mhm.
Even though I've never met him in my in life, but from what people were saying, he's just a sweet dude. So R.I.P. Yeah. So all right, who's ready for an iconic dragon?
Jack is.
I am. I genuinely am.
Okay, so next one we're gonna talk about Mushu from Mulan. And yes, we're gonna be including both the first movie and unfortunately the second movie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Mushu's gonna lose some points.
I'm
Oh, he's
sorry.
losing a lot of points.
we have to take some consideration. I actually made a review of Mulan, I think last year for Chinese New Year, even though it was the year of the rabbit. But I did point out some flaws about Mushu, particularly in the second movie. But I mean, I can't say no to Eddie Murphy. I mean, well, in the first one, he's voiced by Eddie Murphy, but the second one, it's a person impersonating us Eddie Murphy. I forgot the name, but you know, yeah.
I think that if it were just the first movie, Mushu potentially would get S because he's a bit of a bumbler, but like he's pretty integral in Mulan. Like at the end, he's basically the one who kills the main villain. Like he uses the firework and sends the main villain into the sky, and then assumably he dies. So we can kind of chalk that one up to Mushu. There's a lot of good advice scenes he does and a bunch of funny jokes. But the second we start reading the second one, Mushu drops a whole bunch.
I'm sorry, but dishonor on your whole family, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. It's like literally one of my favorite Disney lines ever.
Yeah, I think if we were just going off the first, he's a very unconventional dragon compared to a lot of the rest of the ones on this list. He is, I think, almost certainly the smallest one on this list. He'd be the odd one out. He'd be the exception.
Yeah,
to the
honestly,
rule.
like
Bring
even
him an ass.
yeah, even Spike from My Little Pony is taller than him,
Yeah.
and he's a baby dragon. That's what a baby dragon's supposed to be.
Mhm. But I think, yeah, no,
I
his entire involvement in Mulan 2 is enough to drag him down a bit.
Yeah, part of me still wants to put him in A, but I will accept it if he drops down to B, because he does some bad shit in the second Mulan movie. Like, he fakes conversations to try to break up Mulan and Shang, and that is some bullshit.
I know, it's so infuriating. It's like, dude, you're like seriously. I mean, I think that the problem is it's like those comedy relief characters. There's too much of a good thing can become a bad thing, and we're lucky he wasn't like the main like protagonist. He was more like the antagonist of Mulan 2.
Well, at least they did Mushu a lot better in the live-action Mulan movie that came out. He was great in that. Oh no, he was a phoenix actually.
Yeah, I kept.
Any
I
chance
kept.
I
I
get to
kept.
shit on that
I
movie,
kept
I
hearing that
absolutely
people
Didn't
wanted.
watch it. Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. Okay.
watched half, and then I saved myself.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like Mushu, man. I mean, I kept hearing for people that wanted an actual proper version of the Disney version of Mulan. I kept hearing people say they wanted Kevin Hart to be Mushu.
Honestly, that's not bad casting.
Yeah.
That was like
Like
some
for a
fan,
modern take, that's not
yeah,
bad.
like some like fan take or whatever. But I like I said, I'll try to keep it brief because I did talk about Mulan last year, so you can go check out that video for those of you guys who haven't seen my thoughts on Mulan. Go watch it. Mushu is one of my favorite Disney sidekicks. I don't know if he's my actual favorite Disney sidekick, especially after Mulan 2, but he's good. He has, like I said, funny moments, great comedic timing in the first movie, obviously. Second movie, he can like, I don't know what's a good dragon pun I can use here.
It went up in the bowl. No.
The scales are not in his favor because dragons have scales.
Close enough. You know what?
We'll take that. We'll take
Yeah.
that.
So I know if it was just the first movie, obviously it would be S, but we have to take consideration in both movies.
I'm down with B or A.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to put him in B, but I'm telling you, he's really hilarious in House of Mouse too, because he's in that too, a couple scenes in House of Mouse, which makes up a little bit of the entirety of Mulan 2.
How the hell did Mulan not get her own animated series when pretty much every Disney character was given that?
Oh yeah, like Little
How the fuck
Mermaid.
did
Yeah,
that
Ariel got her animated series. Aladdin got one.
You'd think a
Rapunzel.
Mulan series would be kick-ass.
Yeah, good point.
Rapunzel, and then Moana's supposed to be getting one. Tiana's supposed to be getting one, which I don't know when they're gonna release that. They said this year. But okay, so we're on to number 5. It's the J to the A to the K to the E. He's the Mac Daddy Dragon of NYC. You heard?
American Dragon.
He's cool, he's hot like a frozen sun.
We're gonna
He's
get
young,
copyrighted.
he's fast, he's the chosen one.
Copyrighted.
They can't copyright me. I'm too original.
Can't
Yes.
copyright me. You must think it's too far out.
Grandpa the master.
Yeah, so
That
yeah,
fucking
so
show, man.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
so the American Dragon Jake Long, which ran for 2 seasons, and he's voiced by Zuko.
Dante Bosco.
Yeah, Dante
Dante
Bosco.
Bosco. And
Bang,
Rose is
bang,
and Rose is voiced by Katara. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know that it was her? I forgot
I
what her
did
name
not.
was.
Oh.
May, I think
Didn't sound
May
like her.
Whitman. May
Whitman,
Whitman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Isn't it? And actually, I think both Avatar and American Dragon both came out the same year, 2005.
Yeah, there was crossover with that.
Oh, do you guys
Okay.
remember? Do you guys remember that one crossover with Lilo and Stitch? How Lilo and Stitch crossover with every single animated cartoon up to that point?
I remember that. I like there's a Kim Possible episode where they cross over with Lilo and Stitch, and they think Rufus is one of the experiments.
That's good.
Oh yeah, they
It's
did
really
like
fun.
yeah, they did Recess, they did American Dragon, Kim Possible, and I think
The Recess one was weird. The
Yeah.
Recess one was strange.
yeah, that was something. But yeah. So, do you guys prefer the first season design wise, first season or second season?
I was gonna ask the same question. I prefer season 1, but season 2, like there are some designs I think are improved in season 2, but for Jake Long, for the American Dragon himself, I prefer season 1.
Okay.
Let me look up both designs. You guys talk for a second while I look
Yeah,
them up.
so I know, and then theme song wise, it's still both the same theme song, but it's sung by two different people. The first one is AJ Trough from Even Stevens, and then the second version is by the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, didn't know that.
And
Again, it has been a while.
yeah. I mean, I prefer. I mean, I love Jonas Brothers, but I prefer the first version only because AJ just gives that spunky attitude and that roughness in his voice. Just makes it sound more cool. Because when Joe Jonas tries to do that, it just doesn't sound right. I'm sorry.
I'm of two minds about this because I think design-wise, the first dragon looks better. But I think the second one looks slightly more unique to me. Because the first one just looks like a normal-ass dragon. This one's like more slender, you know, it's got a little bit more going on. I kind of like them both, honestly. But I do think I probably prefer the first one, too.
From what I've heard, I mean, some people are giving love for the second version. Here's what
I don't dislike it.
But yeah, I just prefer the first one, too. Here, I think for people from what I hear, people like the first version design, but they like the second season story better. That's what I hear.
Oh yeah. I am curious if, and this is a complete hypothetical, if the season 2 design had been, if you swapped them around, if that's what you looked like in season 1 and then looked the other way in season 2, if I'd still prefer season 2's design or not. Because I think it might just be familiarity. It might just be in my head, this is what he looked like, and then it changed. And change is scary, man.
Yeah.
Maybe that is what it is, man.
He has the eye of the dragon.
Designs. I just think I prefer the first.
Yeah,
Again,
that's
for that reason.
I mean, yeah, and then like personality wise, I mean, obviously Drake has his moments where he's like trying to be hip and cool because 2000s, yay. Even though it was like very tiny in 2000s, but yay.
For those who have not seen American Dragon Jake Long, I want you to imagine the show Danny Phantom, but instead of ghosts, it's dragons. And
Yeah, that's what I keep
basically
hearing
what
too. I keep hearing it's basically Disney's version of Danny Phantom.
They're very similar shows in terms of like formula.
I'm thinking
But
they have
completely
completely
Yeah, did you guys see that death rap battle with Danny Phantom and Jake?
Was it a rap battle? I thought it was just a death battle.
Maybe it might have been a death battle. I don't know. I'm so used to seeing different rap battles of different characters.
I can't remember who won, but I did watch it forever ago. I think Danny might have. I would assume he has the advantage in that fight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Jake himself, honestly, I think this is a well-made character. I like his story arc he goes through. I like a lot of his plot lines. In terms of being an icon, that is the only thing where I hesitate, because I don't think, like if I said, oh, the dragon from Shrek, or Mushu, or Maleficent, you immediately imagine the dragon I'm thinking about. If I say American Dragon Jake Long, some people can do it, but I don't think it has the same, I don't know, well-knownness, popularity, I guess?
Yeah,
it just kind of seems like Jake isn't holding a candle to some of the other people on this list, but I think personally for me, he deserves S or A tier.
I mean, yeah, I just think that's, I think, yeah, as like popularity or memorability, it's kind of, because for one, he only had 2 seasons, and they were kind of short seasons too. It doesn't really have as much of an impact for some people compared to people that actually grew up with the series. Now, people still talk about like Kim Possible like 20 plus years afterwards, or like some of the other ones that had more of a cultural impact. But like it's kind of with like Jake, it's kind of like he's there. It's nice.
You don't hear Jake come up a lot when people talk about their favorite cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in terms of the popularity point is a good one to raise here, because again, I have 2 younger brothers. one of whom would have also been a kid sat on the sofa watching this with me. But him being younger, I don't think he remembers her, and then the youngest brother will have no idea what I'm talking about. So I think in terms of popularity, I think I'd put him in C with Mal because I think he's kids who grew up the same time as us. Oh yeah, we know Jake Long. Of course, he's someone who just say the name Jake Long. You don't need to say American Dragon, and I know who you're talking about.
Unless they grew up without unless what's the group that didn't have cable? Oh yeah, the people that didn't have cable. I probably won't know what you're talking about.
Fair. Versus, I think in my head, Descendants is a more modern Disney thing. So I think my youngest brother, they probably would know now. I think they're about the same size of an audience, the same size of fan base, I'd say.
I feel like if I'm speaking to my heart of hearts, Jake would probably end up in A. But if I'm being critical, I think he probably belongs in B.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with B. I feel because I think Mushu being there is throwing me off because I'm like, oh, the first movie Mushu's an S tier, but the second movie Mushu is DDO below. So
yeah, we gotta put it.
I'm looking at the positives. I think B's a good spot for Jake.
Yep,
we have two similar looking dragons right next to each other.
Okay. Purple dragons, more purple dragons. So we got Madam Mim from The Sword in the Stone. Was it 61 or 63? It was released in the 60s, let's just say that. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot of The Sword in the Stone except for whenever Mim was on screen. That's the only time I remember the movie. Other than that, I don't really remember what happens after.
I saw Sword in the Stone, my bad, when I was very little, and I haven't seen it since. So I don't have a ton of memories of what Madam Mim did in the movie. So I'm mostly basing my ranking off design here. And in terms of originality, it's not a bad design. Probably the most unique looking one. I mean, minus Maleficent, of course, but probably the most unique looking one on the list so far. Like, this dragon has hair. This dragon has very, very expressive eyes, and the facial animations are more expressive too. I like this one, but for me, it's not going to get a super high ranking. I'd put it in probably C or B. I'll mostly leave Madam Mim up to you guys.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a while since I've watched Sword in the Stone. I've watched it somewhat recently, like in the past 3 or 4 years. But no, so Mim doesn't show up until quite close to the end of the film for the Wizard's Duel. She is, like, design-wise as a dragon. I do like, if you told me, like, just mentally picture an evil witch turns into a dragon, that's dead on. I pictured green rather than purple, but that's dead on. It's good, cartoony enough. It's stylized as sort of the one tooth on the bottom jaw, the almost hooked nose. You get that typical idea of a witch with a big wart on her nose, but instead it's the big dragon nostrils. I think just that idea, that visual works really well. But yeah, she doesn't do much she is just there for the fight at the end, and that's it. I've always thought Mim was one of the more lackluster classic Disney villains that gets brought up all the time. I never really saw the appeal, but like she's fun and it is a good dragon design. So I think it's not bad. I think looking through this list, there's not really many bad dragon designs on this. I think I'd agree with C. I think C's good.
Yeah, I mean, even Maleficent, who I think is the oldest dragon out of everybody here, because movie-wise, or TV, whatever, she's from the oldest one, which is 1959. Like, there's been Disney villains, even like since Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, or even like Pete from the Mickey Mouse cartoons, who have more of an impact versus like Mim or some of the others. Yeah, like I said, the only reason why I kind of remember Sword and Stone was because of Mim and how she's a witch and she captures Arthur, and then her and Merlin have a duel, and they have these rules, and she immediately breaks the rules, and then she ends up getting sick, and that's it. So I'm actually gonna put her in C. Yeah, that seems fair.
I think that's fair.
All right,
Agreed.
and then we have Elliot from Peach Dragon. I only could find I only like the animated version. Well, technically it is live action, but Elliot is 2D, and then they redid Peach Dragon, and he's like 3D. I have not seen the remake, and I barely remember the original.
Yeah,
Why
I
did you
don't
put it on
really
the list in
remember
the first
much
place?
of the original. I think I'll talk design in a moment versus the. I remember when the trailer came out for the remake. It was everywhere for like a week. That was all anyone online was talking about.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
how terrible the design was. And then at the end of that week, it was never mentioned again. I don't remember the year this film came out. I don't remember
2016.
anything about it. But I think the original, it was very. I forget. I don't know the year that the original Pete's Dragon came out, but it was a good choice. It's one of those things where you can see the scenes, you understand why they did it. Oh, he's a dragon who can turn invisible. So we don't actually need to animate him up for a lot of scenes and shots and things that would be difficult to do. It's like, oh, he's invisible. It's fine. Which is not a detriment of the film. That's just the makers being clever. When he is visible on the screen, it's cute. It's a good, like, friendly, goofy dragon design. The wee tuft of hair, the underbite. It's a good dragon design in a fun film, but yeah, not. I don't even know if I've even seen the film. I think I've only seen bits of it that I've studied or broken down.
This is how you know I'm a very unique person, because when I was looking at the design of this dragon, the first thing I thought in my head was, I could take this guy in a fight. Like, if it really came down to it, this is a dragon I would be willing to slay. Like, some of these dragons on this list scare me. I wouldn't want to fight them. But this one, I feel like I got a chance. I am in the same boat as you guys. I haven't seen the new one, though I have been told it's good. And I haven't seen the old one either, honestly. So basing this fully on design, I think it's a cute dragon. It's not really my cup of tea. Like, when I think of dragons, I think of, like, cool, deadly, awesome dragons. And this guy just seems like a buddy I'd hang out with. Which I guess is the goal, but for me personally, I don't think I'd rank it high. C or D for me.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot, I think I think the first one came out either like in the mid to late 70s or early 80s. The last time I remember fully watching this movie was when I was in daycare, and that was when I was like 2 or 3. That's kind of saying something. I've seen bits and pieces of it every now and then again, I want to say live action because technically the first movie is also live action, but the remake, let's call it what it is, the remake, which came out in, I believe, 2016, which I think it was just kind of there, like, oh look, something from the past, but yet they put a lot of effort in Jungle Book, which also came out in 2016.
I will say our favorite phrase of the night. It's not a bad dragon, but I don't think it's anything super special in my opinion. It's not a bad design at all. It's quite a good one. But in terms of the other dragons on this list and the other things we're comparing it to, this is lower for me. Like, there are some cool things here, and I don't really group the imaginary dragon that high. So I'd say C or D.
Yeah. I hate to do this to you, Elliot. I think you're really sweet, but we're gonna put you in D. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna be like, why? But I'll be like, it's my tier linking list. Who knows? We might have a change of heart near the end. But so we're gonna go to the next one, which is the Avatar dragons.
Now this one's neat. This one's unique to rank because they aren't really characters. They're more of like a reveal in an episode. But that reveal is so interesting, and the layers they add to the story of Avatar, I feel like sends ripples. Like these two creatures being alive tells us so much about Iroh's character because he was supposed to kill them and he chose not to. It turns out that like a lot of the stories where we've heard about Iroh being a bad dude, he really hasn't. Like he's done some bad stuff. He did invade Ba Sing Se, but he did not take out the last dragons in the world. He understood it was important to keep them around.
Last dragons. I'm sorry.
I'm not getting that. Did I reference something unintentionally?
A later film on the list.
Okay. But I think these guys are really cool. I think their scene where they teach Aang and Zuko all the different colors fire can make, and all the different ways you can use fire. Like, these firebending masters are fucking cool. They don't have a lot of screen time. They do have a good design, and they do show up again in Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl. And they are annoying as fuck in that game.
They do.
Yeah, they show up. They're a stage hazard.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole stage about. You see that little bridge area that they're around that Aang and Zuko do the dance on?
Oh yeah.
That's a stage in Nickelodeon All-Star Brawls, and the Dragons have a cameo. But I gotta be real. I think they serve an important function in the story to the point where I do think they deserve A. It's a little different because with all the other ones we were ranking characters. This one's more of like they're a story beat, but they do add to the story of Avatar, so I think they deserve a pretty high ranking, if you ask me.
Yeah, and I kind of like what you said about how they're not necessarily characters, but more like they're more of like a lesson. Like fire, you see different types of flames, different types of colors, and how you use it depends on your motivations and what you desire. Sometimes because I actually been having some philosophical moments, I might make a video about this later on, where color is important because of how we interpret colors can also be interpreted as feelings. So when people see like brighter colors, it's usually like lighter and sometimes aggressive. And when you see like darker colors, it's kind of dark and kind of melancholy or wise. Sometimes that's why I see when I see green, depending on whether you believe there's 6 or 7 colors of the rainbow, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Green is in the middle, even though it's a cool color, which kind of helps balance out the other colors of the rainbow. That's why, like with Earthbenders and Avatar, they wear green because they're mostly they're mostly on the ground, or I forgot what the term is, but you kind of know what I mean. They're not like their head is not in the clouds; they're more level,
rounded.
Yeah. Sometimes
colors
sometimes
are like onions.
Yeah,
they have layers.
Yeah, they have layers. But yeah, like they're more level grounded. I think that's what I'm trying to look for. So people might see them as more stubborn and a little more serious compared to others. That's what I really like about this. Yeah, they only appear in like one episode, but they just sends a whole message that I really enjoy, that you can use whatever tools or whatever things people give you. You're given whatever people tell you to use, and then it's up to you how you use the power. You can use it for good, you can use it for evil, you can even be in a different shade of gray. I don't know. It's your life.
Do you have anything to add about the original fire-breathing masters, Jack? Firebending, not breathing.
Yeah, I think I'll say where I put them and then I'm going to justify it. I don't think these guys should be an S or like the top of A. I think, agreed, they're not characters unlike a lot of these other dragons, but rather, as you were saying, it's what they mean to the world and other characters' stories. Again, Iroh, I sort of see them as like they're more of a world building feature. They're an aspect of this world, of this universe. The only thing I compare them to in the series is, say, the lion turtles, but they feel more like characters because they talk. Versus the dragons, they come out, they have this amazing scene, and that's it. And we don't see them again. Prior to them showing up, the only dragon we've seen in the show is Avatar Roku's, who is long dead. Who's long dead.
And we've been told the entire time there are no more dragons. Iroh killed the last dragon. So
last dragon.
When these dragons come out, it's legitimately a giant shock. I'm right there with you. It's either A, high A, or S for me.
They come out. It's when we get. This is sort of the moment that, bearing in mind Avatar's a kids show primarily. This is the moment where they tell the kids watching, yes, the Fire Nation has been the bad guys. Yes, fire has been this dangerous thing that's been destroying and burning, and it's the weapon that the bad guys use. This is the episode where Aang holds some fire and goes, it's like a little heartbeat. It's seeing this quarter of the world building, the fire section as being the bad guys. There have been other antagonists throughout the show. These are the bad guys. You're seeing no fires, as Iroh calls all the time, it's the breath finding this tribe. You don't have to use your anger to fuel the flames. These dragons, when they come out, the camera is just shaking almost non-stop for a few minutes until they stop and they're just watching Aang Zuko. The dancing dragon sequence they do. The tribe are chanting the ending credits music over this scene.
It's
so much of the show sort of builds to this moment, and it feels like it almost shakes the series' foundation a little bit and sort of helps build upon it and stabilize it more. I love what they do for the story of Avatar. So I think for how much I like them, I'm going to be pushing for S, but I'll accept an A. I think B's a bit lower. I'd accept A.
I feel like if they get A, though, they have to be towards the top of A. I'm right there with you. It's also a turning point for Zuko's character, because it's when Zuko stops using fire, not fire, but anger in his firebending. Like, he learns another way to do it.
And I think also with Aang, when he tried to learn firebending for the first time, he, in like season 1, he burned Katara, and he was afraid because of how he hurt her, and he learned to be brave, and he learned to overcome his fear and to embrace the fire without having negative attributes of it. I think that's, again, like what you said, like, we're so used to seeing the Fire Nation as coded as the bad guys, but there's just so many different layers that we don't even realize how true that could be. The more you dig down deep, the more layers and the more things you see that is very astounding and fantastic. And who knows, maybe I mean, this episode did kind of remind me of when I was trying to get my black belt, the journey, and then receiving it and just feeling the joy and effort that I put in, blood, sweat, and tears to receive this gift. So for that, our first S, guys, yay!
I'm very happy they earned S, but I'm unfortunate to say that they're about to drop a rank.
Agreed.
But do we even need to talk about it? Toothless is for sure the top of this list, right?
I mean, he's arguably the most well known of the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. I mean, he's so lovable, and he's so fearless, and I always like whenever his eyes like sharpen or whatever, it's like very cat like. But then when he relaxes them and plays with Hiccup, it's like a dog.
Yeah.
There really isn't another dragon that looks like Toothless either. Like, he has all these little features, like his teeth are retractable, his face is completely different than how we're used to seeing dragons. And in a second, he can go from looking cute and adorable, like how he looks in that picture, to being a very fierce-looking creature.
And I guess
Like,
inside
the
of
Night
people,
Fury is
yeah.
such a well-designed dragon.
And that's why people were so afraid of like the Night Furies and their legends, and even it was just amazing. And I mean, out of all the movies, I think the first one is still my favorite, just because of that relationship that Hiccup and Toothless build throughout the entire movie. And oh shoot, what's that sound? It's one of the soundtracks, like Friendship Test or whatever. I think that's what it's called. It's like one of my favorite scenes where they get to know one another, and then like Hiccup touched Toothless for the first time, and it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the animatronics from the How to Train Your Dragon live show?
Oh, I have not.
I think
so.
so.
Cool. I think Toothless is one of the dragons that kind of gets the short end of the stick when going into live action. But some of those dragons look fucking sick, dude. Like,
are they still trying to do a How to Train Your Dragon live action?
I believe so.
Yeah, they announced some of the casting last week, I think. The only one I remember is Nick Frost is playing Gobbler the Belch. And I'm like, nope, that is perfect. Well done.
I mean,
I'm looking at Toothless's animatronic. Toothless actually still looks pretty good. I retract what I said earlier.
I mean,
I think Toothless, compared to a lot of the other ones on this list and things I've been saying about other dragons so far, I agree on principle with what you were saying, Neil, but I think he's got one of the blandest dragon designs on this list.
Really?
I mean, I like it, but there's no color variation. It's just the one texture for the whole thing. It's all sort of glossy black, and that's it. But it's how he moves in the film. It's the animation of him, it's the expressive eyes, it's how playful he is, it's how serious he can get, it's how they've got this simple character design, which thus means they can make it be so expressive. You can mess around with the eye, like I think the shape of his eyes changed quite a lot, and like the eyebrows and everything compared to other dragons in How to Train Your Dragon, like the design of the Natter, the design of the Zippleback. He is my least favorite dragon design from the film, but he is by far my favorite dragon in the film.
I do. My favorite design in the movie is the blue and yellow one that Astrid rides.
Oh, Stormfly. Stormfly.
Yeah.
Stormfly is definitely Natter.
Yeah. What are our thoughts on the light bright, the white version of Toothless?
I think that one looks cool too.
Might just be because I've had less time to spend with the Light Fury, so I'm less attached to her than I am to Toothless, but I think my gripes I had with Toothless there being, it's the least interesting design, all goes to the Light Fury as well. But then the Light Fury just has less of a character to her, I feel. It has been a while since I've seen 3, to be fair. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like 9 or 10 when the first one came out, and then just the journey that both Hiccup and Toothless go through is just like amazing. Yes, Rise of the Guardians will forever be my favorite DreamWorks movie. You cannot change my mind. But How to Train Your Dragon, the franchise, is a close second. A very close second.
But don't get me wrong, How to Train Your Dragon 3. I tried the How to Train Your Dragon 3 in the cinema.
I've definitely seen the other two How to Train Your Dragon movies. Yeah, I've seen those too. I can take part in this conversation.
I mean, I know.
Change that, Neil, because 2 is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's too good. Maybe I need to watch it.
2 gives 1 a run for his money. Depending on the day, but that affects whether 1 or 2 is better to me. They're both very, very good.
That is some big praise. I sent the animatronic version of Astrid's dragon into our Instagram because damn, that thing looks cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I feel like Toothless goes to the top, right?
Yes, indeed.
Agreed.
Yep. Yeah, because I've seen some of the, I guess, the shorts or specials too, like the Bone Dragon one where
The Bone Napper, I love the Bone
the Bone Napper. Every time I see it, I think of like spooky, scary skeletons because of the skeletons and bones. And then there's like 2 Christmas ones or like holiday ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one of those, I think.
I'm having trouble seeing the image. Is this Smaug?
Yes. So we're actually, I think we're about halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
So-
He's number 10, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Smaug, the Hobbit. Now I will say I love fantasy, but I never really got into the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings franchise, only because it's just so long, and then there's just so many like different weird endings, and then like I don't know. That's weird. I like Harry Potter, but I wasn't really a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I don't understand. That's weird.
I saw the first Hobbit movie, and I think I might have saw the second one too, but I can't remember exactly. I definitely saw the first one though, and I remember all of the fucking trailers were hyping up this dragon. Like there was Gollum, and then there was Smaug. Those were the 2 big things the trailers were hyping up. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Smaug doesn't really do a ton in the first Hobbit movie, does he?
He genocides the people.
Okay, so in that case, I guess he does.
Hey, flashback.
Oh, okay, okay, never mind then. I retract my statement.
No, you don't see him at all in the first film. You just see his shadow.
Doesn't he show up like at the very end though and
You
talk
see
to
his eye open, and like a mountain of gold shifts, and you see his eye beneath it, and his eye opens, and that's it. In the first film.
I will say my favorite part of Smaug is the behind-the-scenes videos where you can see Benedict Cumberbatch just crawling on the ground and growling as if he were a
I think
dragon.
that's how I really I have a lot of celebrity crushes. I think half of my celebrity crushes are Euros, my Europeans, especially British and Scottish dudes. Oh.
Boop, boop.
I have one celebrity crush, and I will never reveal his name. Ever.
I mean, I it's just amazing how both of them. It's like, oh man,
Just know that if you
and then Sherlock. That's what just looking back. I'm like, and you guys work together in Sherlock. Like how? That's interesting to me.
If you want to learn the name of Neil's male celebrity man crush, you'd have to cut out my heart because his name is written on it.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to take points on Smaug there. Give him.
You're in charge, Jack.
Yeah.
Trust you.
So I think it was when the Hobbit films were coming out. I hadn't seen Lord of the Rings yet. I then didn't watch the Hobbit films either because my dad had all of the books physically. So I sat and read through all the books first. And then watched the Lord of the Rings movies and then the Hobbit movies as they came out. I was ready just in time to see The Hobbit 3 in cinemas. The other ones I had to watch on DVD. Smaug in the film is... He's different from how I pictured him in the book, but that's just because, like with Harry Potter, when you're reading it, you picture things very different from how they end up adapting it. But in the film, I like the design. He's got more of a rounder sort of face rather than a long snout. He's closer to... I think the closest comparison to the ones we already have on the list would be Dragon from Shrek, just a bit wider in the face. And then he's more of a wyvern dragon that we've not had on this list yet, where he's 2 legs, and then the front arms are also the wings, which is different from the rest of the ones we've had so far. So he does a lot more. Again, Benedict Cumberbatch crawling around on the floor in motion capture. And I think what this film does best compared to a lot of these other ones, I think its strong suit, The Hobbit 2, with Smaug, is conveying just how big he is. There's moments where Bilbo, main character of The Hobbit, goes and hides underneath things, and Smaug doesn't see him at all, even though he's not. Bilbo has taken off the ring, he's fully visible. Smaug just completely misses him. Because Smaug is just massive, crawling over these mountains of gold. He's probably intimidating, which is brilliant. But then he does fuck all in the third film. I think it's a shame. I think had they stuck to the original plan of these Hobbit films, was they're going to do two. There's going to be two Hobbit films. One that gets them all the way up to the mountain, and then the second one is the mountain fighting the dragon and then dealing with the aftermath, which I will not spoil. There's a whole thing that happens after killing Smaug. There are several chapters of political conflict beyond that because you have to deal with the ramifications of this now. But instead, they split it into three, which meant we got the first film, which is getting most of the way to the mountain. The second film, getting to the mountain, meeting Smaug, and then Smaug flying away, saying, I am doom, I am death. And then we start the next film, and he's attacking a village, and he dies.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's...
No,
wow.
Just, I think how they structured the series kind of damaged Smaug quite a bit. But just in the second film, he's great. What happens to him in the third one is like, well, you got 10 minutes of screen time, didn't you?
So, would you say B or C for that potentially?
I'd say bottom of B or top of C, I think. Because he's very good in the second film, but again, he doesn't show up in the first one at all, and he's scarcely in the...
Okay.
I say for me, if I'm going to be the bad guy who upsets all the Hobbit fans out there, I would say high C. But again, I haven't seen all the Hobbit movies, so my ranking should be taken with a grain of salt for sure on this one.
I think the last two things I'm going to say about now is, unlike a lot of these other ones, Toothless is a character, but he's an animal. He's an intelligent animal. Dragon, same thing. Mushu is more of a person. Jake Long is a person that turns into a dragon. Same with Lux and Bad Ben. And Smaug is, and I'm sure it largely comes down to Benedict Cumberbatch. But even reading the book, I was picturing sort of a proper spoken English man voice. He is very smart, Smaug. He's probably one of the more cunning dragons. He uses his intellect more than he does his physicality. And then again, in the third film, he does use his physicality, he dies. he likes playing the games more, the mind tricks. That's why in The Hobbit, in the first film, you have that game of riddles with Gollum, which then sort of pays off with Smaug later. And then the last thing I'm going to say about Smaug is, again, just due to the structure of the trilogy, counter to what you expect reading the book and watching the films, Smaug is not the final boss. He is not the big bad. He dies at the end of Act 2. There's still a whole third act with everything else that happens. Which is a good twist on that, because again, The Hobbit was written as a book by Tolkien to be more on a children's story. So it's a surprise, the dragon wasn't the be-all end-all. They've beaten the dragon, but now we've got all this to deal with as well. Which is very good, I think. But as he stands in the film, yeah, I'd say C.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. This is a couple of them are the ones where I'd be like, I don't know how to rank this. I just put it on there because I know they're iconic. That's the main reason I put Smaug on here, because I know he's iconic.
Luckily, it seems like the three of us teaming up have enough knowledge to rank all of these to some degree.
Cool.
I think I've covered Smaug here, but there are some to come on this list that I know nothing about. So I think it balances out quite well in terms of our knowledge base.
That derpy one in between Falkor and Raya, I have no idea who that is.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I let's just say I've seen the movie once, so
Okay.
I might have to I might have to look up the movie again just to see what it's about. But as far as
That doesn't bode well.
sorry guys, I wasn't prepared for this. I have Dragon Tales stuck in my head. That's all I can think about right now. But
I have Jake Long stuck in my head now.
I mean, so Smaug. I mean,
Smaug and C?
Sure, I'll put him in high C because I know we might get a lot of flack for it, but it's okay. At least he's not the bottom.
I will say this: Smaug is definitely better than Mal from Descendants.
Yes, I think having them side by side is a shame, but I can't in good faith put them above Jake Long.
I mean, like I said, the only reason why I had Smog on here was because iconic and Benedict
Yeah,
Cumberbatch.
you gotta have Smaug. You gotta have Smaug.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so now another one that I'm not too familiar with, but I've heard things about Daenerys and her dragons from Game of Thrones. And again, I love fantasy. I just have never seen Game of Thrones except for a couple scenes, and Daenerys is actually one of my favorite characters up until season 8.
I have been a hater of Daenerys since the very beginning. I have always hated Daenerys. But something redeeming about Daenerys for me is her awesome ass dragons. And when we start getting to the later seasons, and those dragons are fully grown, and we get to start seeing what they can do. I can't remember the dragon's name. I think it might be called Drogo after
Drogo is the only one I know.
Drogo. Okay. So Drogo kind of the big one here because he was always Daenerys' favorite, and he gets the most screen time and the most stuff to do. He fucking annihilates a small army pretty early on. Like, Daenerys wants to send a message that she can take down the I'm forgetting the name of the big city, but essentially the huge kingdom, King's Landing it might be called. She wants to prove that she can take that down whenever she wants. So there's a small army building to, like, I believe, go after her. She just fucking incinerates it. Like, she burns them all to death, and the dragon only, like, stops because they get a big ballista arrow shot off on it and injure it. They didn't kill it, but they injured it, and that's why they had to retreat. But that scene and the effects on that dragon, I swear to God, that shit looks real. Like, it's incredible how good they are at animating these dragons sometimes. And, you know, Daenerys kind of goes off the deep end, and the story goes to shit. But I think early on, when those dragons showed up and you knew they were meaning business, they were such a force. In terms of character, they don't have a ton going on. There is some storytelling there with all of the different dragons' fates. But the ending of Drogon is he just kind of flies off, and then at the end it's implied that maybe Bran will go get him and maybe warg into him. Maybe. I don't know. I would say for me, A or B, but I don't think I could put Daenerys' dragons much higher than that because they're really cool and it's really awesome when they show up, but these aren't like very memorable, once in a lifetime characters like kind of how Toothless and Dragon are. Dragon from Shrek, of course. You're right, Jack. That's a little confusing.
Yeah. I myself, I stopped watching Game of Thrones before they even hatched, so I have no skin in this race.
And Sher, I don't think you've seen Game of Thrones either.
I have never seen Game of Thrones, but I do love the theme song. And again, I've heard so many different things about Game of Thrones. Again, I don't know. I don't know why I like Daenerys. I think she's pretty cool. Again, up until season 8. I've heard so many things about the final season of Game of Thrones. Like for real though, like the entire time, like for one psychology class I took for a class for psychology, the entire class we talked about nothing but Game of Thrones and the psychology of each character and why season 8 was the worst season.
So it's up to me.
Honestly, I'm fine with where you guys put her. or put her and the dragon. I mean, I'm fine with whatever.
Well, do we want to give bonus points to the fact that in late seasons, one of the dragons dies and comes back as an ice zombie dragon? Do we want to give bonus points to that?
That's pretty cool.
Wait, what? Okay, I guess.
I would say that that's enough to earn a low A for me. That's where I would put them.
I mean, Jack, what did you say you want to put this on? A or B?
I didn't, because I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, so what do you think?
I'm happy to take Neil's word on this. I get as much of Game of Thrones as I saw, they were still eggs, they haven't hatched yet, so...
I'd still put them below Maleficent, but I think they're above Mushu.
Okay, so...
That's fair.
Right here. Perfect.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we get to talk about Spyro the dragon.
Finally, back to something cute.
Yeah, I think the last couple of them were like cute factors, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me just move one of them over so we can get it done out the way, and then... Okay, now we can talk about Spyro. I had to make some adjustments here.
I don't have a lot of history with Spyro. I've played a little bit of the first game, but I did not finish it. I think Spyro as a dragon, in terms of design, is pretty neat. He's one of the smaller dragons. Kind of standard, but he has a lot of emotion in his face. Like, you can animate that dragon pretty well. I don't have a ton to say about him, honestly. I think I'd put him in B just because I like him. I like the cut of his jib. But I don't have a ton of experience with Spyro.
Yeah, I played a couple of Spyro games, mostly like the Game Boy version. Or like the ones that you get from like Happy Meals or like Burger King. I played those type of Spyros. As far as media, I mean, besides the fact that Spyro shares the same voice as SpongeBob SquarePants Tom Kenny, which, yay. At least I think majority of the series Tom Kenny does voice Spyro. I think there's like one or two that he didn't voice Spyro. But yeah, I mean, and I love Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny's pretty cool, and I think he really does give Spyro some spunkiness. And then the only time I've seen Spyro not in a video game is Skylanders. Only because, I love my voice actors. Richard Horvitz plays, Chaos, the bald-headed dude with magical powers. So that was another reason why I kind of was into Skylanders, and Spyro in that version is pretty arrogant and prideful, but he has a heart. That's basically Spyro's character. Is mostly arrogant, prideful, but he means well. And then there's like a dark version of Spyro in season 3.
Isn't there like in the TV show or something like doesn't he meet Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, they had some crossovers with Crash. It was.
I will crack my knuckles and weigh in here now. I never played any Spyro games. I have played every single Skylanders game.
Dang.
Which I know diehard Spyro fans will immediately disregard everything I'm saying now. Because Spyro was, when they released the first game, he was one of the 3 characters that came with it. Or he's one of the default ones, and they were able to sort of sell it. It was called Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. So you could play the whole game with him. But, it was the Toys to Life trend. It was all you buy the characters separately, you have the cool figures, and you can play them in the game. So I never really used Spyro much, because I had Double Trouble was my favorite in the first game. But, yeah, they had Spyro and Cinder, who's from Spyro's franchise, were both in that game, along with, I think it's Spark, is it? The little Dragonfly sidekick character. He was sort of...
I think his name's Spark, yeah.
He was like a magic item you could use in the game and have him fly around and help you. And then as the franchise went on, when they got to like the I think it was the 5th game, Skylanders was now on Nintendo consoles, so Bowser and Donkey Kong were now characters you could play as. And then in the sixth game, they added Crash Bandicoot and Neo Cortex were now in it as well, and they're characters you can play as in the game, and they're all cross-platform and forwards compatible. No, I loved the first 4 games of the franchise. The track team was amazing. You went around, you decked the bad guys, and you dragged them out of the video game into a little trap that you could carry around and stick it into your mate's console and hear them talking to you. It was a great gimmick. And again, Richard Horvitz as Chaos as the main antagonist was fantastic. Spyro, though, again, I'm familiar with him. I've played with him throughout all the games. I've fully maxed out his skill tree and everything like that. But he was never my favorite. I appreciate him as kind of PlayStation's video game mascot. You know, Sega had Sonic, Nintendo had Mario, PlayStation had kind of Spyro, kind of Crash Bandicoot, kind of Lara Croft, kind of Halo, I guess.
That's why PlayStation All-Stars was so strange.
Yeah, I appreciate Spyro, but I'm not a big enough fan to properly represent him. I think I'd put him C above Mad Mad and Mim, and again, having not seen Descendants, below Mal, I think.
I'd say probably above Mal. Specifically Mal's dragon form.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Spyro, he has been a part of my childhood for the longest, even though I've played like semi-mobile games of Spyro or Game Boy Advance, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, video game wise, I mean, he's pretty, like, from what I remember, I guess, like, I don't know what to call him, I guess, cool, spiritful, and then, like, Skylander's version, he's more, like, arrogant and kind of prideful, and he's also, like, I guess, like, the leader of the Skylander team.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so, I mean, I don't mind putting Spyro, not there. How's that? How about right there?
That's fine with me.
Alright.
Happy with that?
Alright, Pokemon, Charizard, again, I explained this a couple times to some other people who will not be named, but I think anime has a beautiful art style. I just never really got into anime shows. Only because I kind of like those shows that are more, like, straightforward. I mean, I don't mind shows that have, like, a story arc to them, but, like, when you have, like, 5+ seasons, I'm like, okay.
I am about to lead a campaign here.
Oh,
And I don't know if it's going to be a successful campaign.
Oh dear.
But I have a lot of good points. I think Charizard, arguably, should be at the top of the list above Toothless.
Ooh.
Now let me explain.
Ooh.
Of all the dragons on this list, I think the exception is Jake, because he has one of these too. Charizard has a long-term character arc. And it starts when he's a Charmander. Like, he's on his own, he's desperate, he's been pretty much abandoned. He's out in the storm, and if his tail goes out, he's gonna die. Brock and Ash are worried about him, his trainer's not treating him right. They take Charmander. And Charmander starts off as just this sweet little guy. He evolves into Charmeleon, and he's instantly an asshole.
Oh.
But then slowly and surely, when he becomes a Charizard, he's still an asshole. He's still a douche. And he doesn't treat Ash right, he doesn't listen to Ash. But then Charizard gets injured, he gets hurt in a fight, and there's a risk that Charizard's tail might go out, and Charizard might die. And Ash spends the entire night taking care of him and just making sure the flame doesn't go out, protecting it with blankets so the wind doesn't blow it, trying to fan the flames to keep it going hotter. And Charizard notices that, and the next day, I think Team Rocket attacks or something, Charizard shows up, and he's down with Ash now. Ash has learned that Charizard has learned that loyalty to Ash, And since then, Charizard is just a big fucking menace whenever it comes to Pokemon battles, to the point where eventually Ash does stop using Charizard. But here's the thing, and this is why I want to give Charizard S tier. Charizard has one of my favorite scenes in any Pokemon movie. So, early on, in Pokemon 3, the third movie, I believe it's called Curse of the Unknown, and it has Entei in it. We see a scene where the person Ash left his Charizard with is watching the news and sees Charizard in there. And then, not Charizard, but Ash in a bad situation with all of these unknown attacking. Charizard sees that, and then 20 minutes passed, another 20 minutes passed. We don't see Charizard, but at the very end, Ash is falling off of a balcony. He's knocked off by Entei. And then he stops falling and he just yells, "I don't believe it!" The camera zooms out. Charizard has shown up. And we see Charizard fight Entei. Fire is flying. There's a dragon in the air while this fucking cool-ass lion thing is chasing it down. It's one of the most memorable scenes in all of Pokemon for me. And honestly, I think Charizard as a character has really caught on in the cultural zeitgeist. Like, he's in Smash Bros. He's in Pokken Fighters. He's in a ton of games and gets a ton of, like, recognition because I think this dragon fucking deserves it. It's a good design. I love that the wings are green. I've always loved that about it. And just having the flame on its tail, it's such a simple dragon look, and yet it's so effective. I think Charizard should go to the top of the list, but that might be my bias speaking.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say Charizard shouldn't even be on the list.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
He's not a dragon-type Pokemon. He's a fire-flying-type Pokemon.
You look at those wings. You look at that design.
I mean, honestly, I was kind of having trouble coming up with like the last few dragons. I mean, yeah, there's probably other dragons that could have been on this list, but I was like, isn't there a Pokemon that has that's a dragon? And I searched and I was like, oh yeah, it's this thing. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm joking, of course.
I know.
But, no, I wasn't thinking S. But that was a very good argument, Neil. Bringing up Curse of the Unknown Man, that whole sequence. I think nowadays, from where I'm sat right now, I guess, I look at Charizard and go, oh yeah, he's the one that Game Freak keeps pushing for us to be fans of, and I'm kind of sick of it at this point. But thinking back to when he was around the early days, in the first couple generations, and actively in the show, yeah, Ash's Charizard was quite the character. I quite enjoyed watching all that play out, and yeah, that moment in that play extended was fantastic. I think, personally, and again, just from the video games of Charizard getting all preferential treatment, and the Charizard card is the most valuable card in the trading card game. It's worth how many $100,000? Like, just because it's a popular one. There's no intrinsic value to that card.
I can't disagree that he's oversaturated a bit. He's everywhere in Pokemon. But my counter to that is the classics are a classic for a reason, right? I feel like Charizard has a real reason for his popularity.
I think I would, on today being a good day, on a good day, I'd say
A. That's fair. I will say one of the things that I remember from the show itself and that episode where Ash finally earns Charizard's trust, that really stood out to me as a kid, is there's a lot of quiet scenes. Like, there's a lot of scenes of just Ash trying to keep the flame from going out, because if it goes out, Charizard dies. That's how it works. But there's a lot of scenes of him trying to keep it out, and keep it out. That would be Ash killing him. No, don't do that. Keep the flame going. And Charizard is just quietly looking at Ash, and he's just kind of staring at him. There's a lot of scenes like that where it makes you wonder what's going on in Charizard's head while this happens. And then at the end, when he defends Ash, you realize that entire time he was learning to respect Ash. And that's what I really like, because the whole thing about Pokemon is become friends with your Pokemon and you can win any battle. And I think Charizard is a perfect example of that. But I'd be fine with A tier, but I do think he deserves S personally. Cher, it's down to you.
I'm just looking at what Jack sent me. Your favorite dragon type Pokemon. Interesting.
Yeah. I just put it in our group chat. Dracovish is my favorite Pokemon for those watching this video, which is that really dumb one in Sword and Shield where the whole gimmick was the fossils that you find around the region that you can then revive are just put together wrong. So it's the back half of something with the head of something else stuck on the end of the tail. I called mine Please Kill Me, and he was the ace of my team playing through that game. Please kill me. You're a legend, man.
I adore that.
Okay. Again, I don't really know too much about Pokemon other than Pikachu. But design-wise, it's different from the others because again, mostly the dragons are green or purple or red. It's orange, so that's cool. I don't know where to rank him though, honestly, because I don't know too much about him.
I like the green wings. I've always liked that.
I agree. That's a good choice of keeping it just the orange or red. A bit of green, a bit of different color on the design without getting too samey, and that draws your eye to it. That being a big step up from Charmeleon. It's bigger and has wings now. Oh wow! Now you notice the wings. It is a basic dragon design, but as you say, the classics are remembered for a reason.
I feel like at the very least, Charizard deserves some respect in the dragon community, you know?
Yeah, so, again, I obviously, I love Maleficent more. Whoop, not there. I'm gonna put Charizard right here. Only because, I don't know too much about him, and then, Maleficent is still my favorite, so I'm sorry.
My favorite dragon-type Pokemon is Dialga.
That is very fair, yeah.
Alright,
Dialga's fucking sick, dude.
Yep, so we got 7 more dragons, so, I hope I'm pronouncing this right.
So who is this?
Have you not seen Spirited Away?
Spirited Away.
No.
Oh my god.
I've seen it, once.
There was a time in my life where I had seen none of the movies that everyone has seen. Like, I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite. I hadn't seen some of the Star Wars movies. And then I corrected that. But a lot of the Ghibli films fell to the wayside. I have not seen Spirited Away.
I've seen it once because someone kept pestering me in the past to watch more anime. But it's a very nice movie. And did I say it right? Is it Haku? I don't know if I'm saying it. Okay. I was like, please tell me I'm saying at least I'm close to it.
No, you're dead on.
I didn't want to offend anybody. I feel bad. No, but design-wise, I think I'm assuming, because it's been a while, Haku is a male dragon.
Yeah, so in the film Spirited Away, to give you the quick rundown without any too big of spoilers, this girl, Chihiro, or Sen, depending on if you're watching the English or Japanese dub, is moving home with her family, and the car breaks down and get lost on the road, and she finds this magical world where all these spirits and everything all come to this bathhouse to relax. She ends up losing her parents, they end up turning into pigs, and she has to rescue them by working in the bathhouse for a bit. She meets all these different colorful and crazy characters, No-Face, the swamp, the river spirits and stuff like that. Fantastic film. Will highly recommend it. It is, I think, to this day, the only like non-Western animated film to win an Oscar. Uh, Everything else has been Disney, DreamWorks, one of the Wallace and Gromit films. This is the only non-Western animated film to have won an Oscar. I'm glad about that acknowledgement because it is fantastic. It's not my favorite Ghibli film, but it is a fantastic film. And Haku is one of the other, not necessarily employees of the bathhouse, but he's sort of a mystery character who's just hanging around and lending a hand, smuggling the main characters through different back ways and teaching them how to navigate this world and not fall for the tricks of the Fae and everything. And eventually it's revealed that he is this dragon spirit. And he's in service to the bathhouse because he signed a contract and lost his name. So when he remembers his name, he's now free, and he gets great flying sequence through the air with an ass. Again, unlike many of the other dragons we've seen so far on this list, he's more Mushu in design, but it's a long snake-like thing. But he, unlike Mushu and unlike some of the others, has no wings. He's more of a traditional sort of Eastern dragon where he just flies like a snake in the air. Which is different, again, than a lot of the other ones we've seen so far on the list. I know he's got a big fan. There are a lot of people who love this character. I think he's cool, but he's nothing too special. But he is one of the more iconic dragons in anime. I think he deserves to be on this list. But personally, I think I'd say... I'd probably put him behind Charizard above the Game of Thrones dragons, but again, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so that's a bit of bias there.
I mean, like I said, I've seen this movie once, and I really did like the scenes with Haku, so... I mean, I agree. I want to try to keep it short, simple, sweet.
The Studio Ghibli movies I've seen are Kiki's Delivery Service.
Good.
Is Ponyo
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I've seen Ponyo. Howl's Moving Castle.
Good.
That's it.
Okay.
I mean,
You've
I
seen
think...
the big ones. Spirited Away is like their biggest.
Yeah.
I think Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro are the two that you're missing there. Once you've seen them, you've seen the popular ones.
My favorite one is Howl's Moving Castle. I really like that movie.
My favorite, just to quickly say it and sell it to people before we move on, while we're on Ghibli, is The Wind Rises, which is very unlike a lot of their other films. It's essentially an animated biopic about this guy who built airplanes in Japan, and he just loved the engineering side of that and the mechanics of flight. However, World War II happens, and the planes he designs are being used by the military and end up bombing Pearl Harbor. And it's the story of this guy's life. Dramatized and cool running style. You know, there's a lot of creative liberties taken.
Sick movie.
There's a lot of creative liberties taken. But he has just like dream sequences of just these beautiful clouds and like speaking to the great engineers who came before him that he like idolizes and he has like his mentors. It's a great film, but it's very unlike a lot of their other works.
What was that called again for research purposes?
The Wind Rises.
Got it. I'm definitely not adding that to my watch list. Certainly not.
So, you guys want to put above Charizard or
No, below.
below?
I like him more than Charizard, but I would agree below.
Okay. Alright, so we're now getting to the one that everyone's questioning. Who is this?
The Luck Dragon?
Yeah, so this is Long, or Longzhu from Wish Dragon. So, I've seen this movie once, and based off of the trailer, it's kind of like, and I don't want to be, I'm not trying to offend or anything, but it's like the Chinese version of Aladdin. In a way that, the dragon is a wish dragon, so he gives wishes to anybody using this teapot. And you get 3 wishes, and the main character is a middle class worker, like college student from It takes place in Shanghai, which I want to go there someday. I think it's a beautiful place. And he basically has this crush on his childhood friend, but she moves away, and her father is very strict and wealthy. So I forgot how he gets the teapot, but the teapot has Long, and we kind of get a little bit of Long's story where he used to be a human and he was very greedy. He had a lot of fortune, and then he lost everything, and the gods punish him by turning him into a wish dragon. So it's kind of like what happened with Aladdin with Genie, where all this cosmic power, anybody live in space, kind of like that. So basically, he's serving the main character.
I haven't seen this movie, so in order to rank this guy properly, I needed to look up his design on Google a bit, and I found a shot, assumably from the movie, where he's in the back of a taxi cab and he has his head out like a dog.
Yeah.
That saved him from D for me, because I think that's adorable. But to tell you the truth, I don't know this dragon. In terms of design, I don't think he's bad. The color choice for me is not that cool, but I do like how he only has 2 arms in the front, and besides that, he seems to be like a snake dragon. I think his design is neat. That's pretty much all I have to add to this. I would say probably C for me, because I do not know anything about it, but if you guys want to rank him higher, I'd be down for that too.
I myself haven't seen the film either. I remember when it came out, a lot of people were just comparing it to Aladdin.
Yeah.
I didn't end up watching it, but my understanding was, he's like the genie. I'm like, oh, well, I like the genie. But since then I've heard, oh no, it's not just Aladdin again. He is his own character, which is good to know.
Right. How I feel about it, I feel like Long is kind of like a combination of Genie and Maui. That's basically his personality. It's like Genie and Maui. Like, especially the Maui in the very beginning, how he's very arrogant and he's very prideful, and it's kind of like that. But when you get to know his backstory, you kind of feel for him, or you're just supposed to feel for him, because that's how movies work, I guess. And then he sacrifices himself, and then and I guess the main character wishes him back. It's, again, I've only seen this movie once, so audience, you could correct me, because I know this movie is more than just an Aladdin ripoff. I'm pretty sure it's more than just, oh, it's Aladdin. It's just basically Aladdin. I know there's more to it. It's been like 3 years since I watched it, so.
I truly have nothing else to say about this dragon, so I will simply add, the closer we get to doing Falcor, the more the never-ending story song enters its way into my brain.
Well, lucky for you, I'm gonna put Long. I just feel like Long kind of gets a bad rep because, again, people were comparing it to Aladdin. When there's some parts that are kind of like Aladdin, but it has its own unique factors that can drive itself away from Aladdin. But I think he's kind of a little bit forgettable, in my opinion.
Good design. It's a good
people that
friendly-looking dragon, which is what it's meant to be. I like it visually.
Alright, so now we get the Falcor. Never-ending story.
And on these pages,
oh, goodness.
the answer to the never-ending story.
If I get copyrighted, I'm gonna blame you guys.
You're not gonna get copyrighted for us singing. Don't worry about it.
You know, you can't see me, but I am biting my tongue because I have the Dragon Tales theme stuck in my head, and I do not want to get copyrighted for singing Dragon Tales.
I'm gonna sing that shit when we get to him. I'm gonna sing it.
So,
but
are there 3 Never-Ending Story movies?
There's
No, there's
definitely
just one.
two.
No, there's just one. There's just one.
Oh, because I thought there was a first one, and then there was another
No,
one,
no, no,
and
no,
then
no. There's
and
just
then
one. There's just one.
and then
No,
there's
no,
like I think wasn't Jack Black in one of them?
no, guys, that you're talking madness. There is only one never-ending story movie.
Bastion. I'm like, okay, is that his actual name, Bastion? I thought it was like, is it short for like Sebastian? But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. Is this based off of? I feel like this is based off of a book series.
No idea. I've only ever seen the first thing.
Of which there is only one.
Wikipedia disagrees with you, Neil, but I trust you over Wikipedia.
Trust me, there's only one.
And I'm sure, and you're sure Jack Black wasn't in another one of the movies or whatever.
That does not exist. I have decided just now. It does not exist.
I feel like Jack. I
In
could have
follow-up
sworn
video
Jack.
to this, he is the Dragon Warrior. We can't justify adding him.
Okay, I mean, I could have sworn Jack Black was in something. I don't know. Maybe.
No, there is two other never-ending story movies. They're just both shit. So I'm trying to gaslight the universe, because if I can convince the universe they're not real, maybe they'll just stop existing.
Do you want a Kazam? This is how you get a Kazam. This is how Mandela effects happen, Neil.
I wish those other movies were Kazams. I wish. But Falcor, I have to say, when I was a kid, I didn't like him because I was like, he doesn't look like a dragon. He looks like a dog. But as an adult, dude, he's one of the most like unique-looking dragons ever, because like he does look like a dragon. He looks like a pooch, and he's very expressive in the movie. They got a really good puppet for him. I love how he looks when he flies. I would say
did he
Falcor should
really
go
eat
pretty
those
high.
bullies though? Did he eat those bullies? I feel like he
I hope so.
I choose to believe so.
When I was a kid, if I had a dragon, you better believe I would have taken out some bullies. Maybe I can learn to relate to Daenerys, actually. I'm now realizing we have something in common.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the Never-Ending Story movies, but the first one is obviously a classic. It's definitely the best of the three. I'm pretty sure there's three. And if there's not,
And
if
then
it's
real
just...
goofy in the third one.
Oh, wait, what did they do to Falcor?
He just sounds different, and the animatronic isn't as good in the third one. It's just... don't make me think
so
about the
they
third one long
basically-
enough to discuss it. Please don't do that to me, Sher.
So they basically gave him the Ninja Turtle treatment in the later movies.
Essentially, yes.
That's
Him and the rock biter, the poor rock biter.
Didn't the Rockbiter have like children or something?
Yeah, and he drove like a motorcycle and sang Born to Be Wild.
Oh no, I remember this now. I've at least seen that clip.
Wait a minute. Jack Black was in it. He was in the third one. Okay.
Yes, he was actually in it. Unfortunately, those movies do exist despite the laws of nature.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Falcor again, design-wise, very unique from the other typical dragons we have here, and I don't know, he's just
at least to be.
I mean, he's just so sweet. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the first movie, but from what I remember, he was really sweet, and yeah, I would want to ride. I would ride on Falcor, even though I have a fear of heights.
I think the man deserves at least to be.
I think, and again, it's been a while since I've seen it. Before, again, that puppet, him being the sort of symbol of almost, especially at the end, sort of childlike wonder, imagination, and everything, and then coming into the real world somehow. I think I'd argue for him being an A. I think I'd put him above Charizard myself.
Yeah, we might have to battle, Jack. I'd put him below Charizard. The only reason And I'll admit, I am a bit biased here. The only reason I think Charizard should be above him is because Charizard had an interesting character arc. Like, this Pokemon thought he was gonna die, and then he got saved by someone. And then he spent the rest of his time like trying to save that person. And in the Unknown movie, he actually does save Ash. So he kind of gets his redemption there. It's kind of full circle, but you know.
I'll give you that. I keep looking at this picture of Charizard going, yeah, it's just Charizard as a whole that I kind of dislike. But as Ash's Charizard, yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, I definitely would like to put Falcor into A tier, I just don't know where.
Yeah, above a 2, I think.
Yeah, I'd say right below Charizard. He's kind of my champion here. Until we get to Tad Cooper, and I abandon him completely.
Alright, so we get to probably the most controversial dragon here, besides Daenerys in her entirety of Season 8, Sisu from Raya and the Last Dragon. And it has been confirmed Raya is official Disney princess as of last year.
Oh, really? Surprising. I don't dislike that. I always like it when they add a new Disney princess.
Yeah, so from what I've been told, I thought the movie was... I actually liked the movie, but then when I watched it the second time, I could kind of see the problems with the movie, and I just feel bad for Awkwafina, honestly. Like, I think Awkwafina gets way too much hate. Yeah, she has a raspy voice, and it can get annoying at times, but I actually really like Awkwafina as Sisu.
So, I did not see the movie. I did not. And I gotta be real, I don't really love how the dragon looks.
Yeah, that's another problem. That's what I keep hearing too. People don't like the designs of the dragons in the movie.
Well, I don't hate it. I think it's a neat look. Does this dragon fly?
Yeah, she flies.
Okay.
So basically, from what I remember, it's kind of water based. She's like a water dragon. So
that does change my opinion a lot.
So when she flies, like when her and
Raya,
when Raya flies with her, every time she steps on like the sky, she creates like these like little water puddles.
Well, that's a neat detail. Okay, so they had some fun with designing how this dragon works.
Yeah, it's almost like instead of flying, she more sort of runs through the water vapor in the air, which is a really fun idea. There's a scene where it's raining and she does that. She's essentially walking on the raindrops as they fall, and I'm like, that's really clever. That's really cool. If only the design was better.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
I think my problem with the design is this dragon is very long. Like the neck is super long, the body is super long. I don't know, it's not visually pleasing to look at. And in some shots it looks snake-like, and you'll know like he snakes. But I do like the horn. I think that's cool looking, and I don't think this is an awful dragon. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it. What do you guys think based on the movie? Like, does this dragon get higher up?
So, Sisu is a very interesting case. I mean, again, I think the main problem with the movie is like the message and then like Sisu. Because I think she's probably one of the more hated characters of the newer Disney stuff. Again, probably because of Awkwafina and her voice and her personality. I think that's why she gets a lot of hate. But,
Is she funny in the movie?
She has her moments.
She has funny bits.
It's kind of like hit and miss.
Yeah. I'd say a solid 60% of the jokes land, I think. More than half. But
60's better than 50.
Yeah, not a lot more than half, but more than half.
Right. And then, like, she has other siblings that have different type of powers, and Raya has to go to each of the different kingdoms to gather this raindrop orb to bring balance, because there's like these weird dark purple things that when it goes past a human or whatever, they turn to stone. And Raya has to learn to trust others.
Mm-hmm.
And I am convinced that Raya and Amari are together. They don't. It's not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure they're together.
Yeah. I think I like Sisu more than Amari myself. The whole message, just blindly trust people, especially this character who's done all this shit. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm not a big fan of that. Sisu in the film, I think, is fine. I agree, she's a longer dragon, but Haku and Falcor, we've had the Firebending Masters. There are long snake-like dragons here. That's fine. I think my thing with Sisu is she's a long dragon, but she's not long enough for she's just a bit out of proportion. The limbs are too short, I think. I think the neck, she doesn't get any thinner. She's sort of the same length from her head the whole way down. I don't know. It's just a weird choice, the whole, the entire thing. The single unicorn horn, I like. Again, her, interactions with water and everything is very fun. When she shapeshifts to disguise herself as a person, that's a great design. Aquafina's voice, I think, works for this. I like Aquafina in Shang-Chi. I like her in The Bad Guys as the tarantula. I think some of her own stand-up comedy isn't the best, but I think with other people writing it, she's a good comedic actress.
I loved her in Shang-Chi. So that's a feature I didn't know about. This dragon can transform into a human form?
Right, based off of the different pieces. So the more pieces that they get, the more she can get the different abilities of her siblings, because I think she has 4 siblings. And
who
they
are identical in design, just panel swapped.
Yeah. And then when they were trying to fight, I forgot what the things were. It was like this dark
purple evil smoke thing.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who has not seen the movie but is judging some of these dragons by coolness, I think in that case they should either be above Madame Mim or just below her, because I think this dragon at the very least is cooler than the imaginary dragon.
I agree. I don't want to put her in D because I think she's fine. I don't dislike her at all, but I think I'd put her above Mim. Being not too familiar with most of the C tier apart from Smaug.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, I kept hearing different, people thought that Disney was trying to do their own version of Avatar: The Last Airbender with Raya and the Last Dragon. And
there are some strong comparisons there, I will admit.
Oh yeah. Do I want to spoil what happens to Sisu?
Bruh, I don't care.
That is one of the strong. Well, if we're spoiling it, we're spoiling it. Sher, you can spoil it now.
She gets killed.
Oh, the dragon dies?
Well, for a brief moment she gets killed.
Oh, it's a fake out death.
Yes, it is. Had they stuck with it, she'd be higher. She'd be higher on my list. I respect the hell out of them for doing that. But she's dead for what? 5 minutes tops?
Well, pretty much when they defeat the big purple dark orby thingies, she comes back. Through the rain. Yeah.
Which is visually a pretty sequence. I didn't like the look of it. But you shouldn't have had the big if you were, I have a lot of gripes with that movie. Sisu herself, as a character, is not one of them, though. She's a perfectly serviceable Disney magical psychic character.
Yeah, so I honestly I think I'll probably put her right above Mim. Again, she's not terrible, but the movie is kind of. And this was supposed,
The dragon in front of her can grant wishes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's better. He's cool.
It's again like
Okay.
again with Long. He basically was punished by the gods and turned into a wish dragon because of his selfishness in his past. So kind of like with the genie, where he became all powerful and then he became a genie. It's kind of like that similarity.
But you can't use the magic for yourself, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I love Dragon Tales, I think I need to veto this next choice a little
It's almost
because
good.
I see several dragons in that picture.
I know. I kind of cheated a little bit. But literally,
I think we have to pick one.
okay. So we got here. This is
Because it's not like Daenerys' dragons where they're just kind of like, animals. These are characters.
So we got Orr. He's big but not so brave of heart. Cassie, she's shy but very smart. Zack and Wheezy, their tails as one, because you know 2 heads are better than one.
Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales. It's almost time for Dragon Tales.
Come along and take my hand. Let's all fly to Dragonland.
I think literally probably that's the main reason why I watched the show in the first place was because of the theme song. I really
You
love
want the song and you leave the living room. Just wait for the episode to end.
I mean, like,
Of all the dragons, which ones are your favorites? Because everybody has a different favorite.
as a kid, I was always obsessed with anything pink, so Cassie was my favorite.
There, she was the smart one. I liked Cassie. My favorite was Zack and Easy.
Oh yeah, Zack and Wheezy.
Oh, Wheezy, I said Easy.
Because they have 2 heads. They have 2 heads, and it's better than one.
Well, Wheezy was always like the brash one, and Zack was always like, I don't know if we should do this, Wheezy. So the fact that they were like attached to each other was really funny to me as a kid.
I'm from the UK. We do not have PBS. I did not watch this show.
Oh, it's really sweet.
My knowledge of Dragon Tales comes entirely from the Odd Ones Out animated
Yes.
video that he did a few years ago. That's it. That's all I've seen.
That's literally my favorite video from him. I'm just like, thank you for talking about something from my childhood.
Nice.
No, honestly, like Dragon Tales was like literally like one of my favorite shows as far as like
I loved it.
as far as like preschool shows. It was like Dragon Tales, Arthur, Cyber Chase. If we're talking about PBS, yeah, Dragon Tales, Clifford, Cyber Chase, Arthur, Zaboomafoo, and Fetch with Rough Ruffman. Oh, and Between the Lines.
That's
So
with
we
Ruff.
had Clifford and Arthur. We didn't have the rest of those.
Oh, I know Kipper. He was one of my favorites growing up.
Yeah, Kipper's another cartoon, but Clifford was fucking great too. I
I
loved
remember
Clifford.
Clifford, yeah.
Did you guys see the live action Clifford movie?
No.
No,
Is it even? I was about to say, should I even watch it though? Because
there's a comedian in it I like, but that's my. Did you see how Clifford looks in that movie? I
That's
don't
annoying
know.
me that I don't remember his name. I should know his name.
okay,
It's Jack something. Jack.
Yeah, Jack Waggle. There we go.
okay, I was about to say, so are we gonna choose Zack and Wheezy? I guess. I mean, I don't care who.
Well, we can choose Cassie if you want. I think Cassie as a character is very, very smart. You know, she's kind of the shy one, but there's a lot of arcs where she has to overcome that to help the others, and I think Cassie's one of the better characters. I think she'd get a higher rating if we went with Cassie.
Yeah, I think depending on, because obviously each of the episodes they learn a lesson. That's the whole point of Dragon Tales. When their weakness is shown, they like do something. So like with Org, the blue dragon, when he gets scared, he turns invisible. And then like when Cassie, when she gets like humiliated or whatever, she shrinks. She turns tiny.
Oh, I
like,
forgot about that.
yeah, I forgot what Zack and Wheezy do, but yeah.
They, I don't know, explode. They explode when they're hungry. So you have to feed Zack and Wheezy constantly, or else, Dragonland's not going to be around for long. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah, and then there was like this elder yellow dragon that like
the old guy
that taught them Spanish, and I was like, oh my god, this is so sweet. And he would always give lessons every time. I was like, I love that dude.
I think I'd be willing to put Cassie below Jake if we do another ranking, which I'd be kind of down to because this was kind of fun. I'd be down to do some of the other dragons, but if we're just going off the pink one, if we're just going off Cassie, I would say B below Jake. What do you think, Sher?
I'm okay with that. I mean, again, Dragon Tales is like, which I feel like I want to watch some Dragon Tales after this recording. I am so tempted to watch Dragon Tales afterwards, but yeah.
I remember in the later seasons when they added in like a third friend, and I was like, what?
Oh yeah, I think that was their cousin. Yeah.
I have no idea, but it was fucking cool when like Zack and Easy had somebody that they carried on their backs because like I'm pretty sure the other two kids, one of them rides Cassie, one of them rides Orc.
Yeah, so the Max, I think Max rides Orc and Emmy rides Cassie.
I also want to say that this show brainwashed me because I'm pretty sure I still know that little phrase they used to say when they hold the rock and teleport to Dragonland.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show was a trip as a kid.
All I remember was like to go back home until next time. That's literally like the only thing I remember when they leave Dragonland.
To fly with dragons in a land of heart.
Yeah.
So, Sher, I'm gonna be real. You're gonna have to make a hell of a case if you want this person high.
Oh,
I want him to be.
What do you have against Spike? Not Spike.
I have one involvement with Spike, and it was for my channel. I played a My Little Pony video game, I believe, and Spike was in it. And that is my only interaction with him, besides a plethora of little videos that my little cousin used to show me of Spike just being the most annoying little shit in the world.
Okay, so I will admit
I haven't seen the show, but I've seen one episode of the show, and you're gonna have to do some arguing with me if you want Spike to be high.
Okay, so Jack.
But it is also your list. So
Jack, Jack, I know. Have you seen any My Little Pony? I don't care what generation it is. Have you seen?
I have seen a lot of Friendship is Magic. Yes.
Yay! I'm happy. So technically, Spike. This is Generation 4 Spike. Spike has always been there since the very beginning, since Generation 1 from what I remember. So there's different versions of Spike, but I'm using Generation 4 because he's arguably the best one. So Spike...
It's my favorite design of Spike, but I think D's a bit harsh, but I kind of agree with Neil. I always found him kind of annoying.
Oh my gosh! Y'all are breaking my heart.
I know.
How will we make a compromise? I don't mind putting him in C, but, like, not D.
I'd accept B, but... Well, actually, looking at it... Well... I mean, I like Smaug more than him.
Oh god,
but I like him more than
everything else. Designs.
So yeah, Spike is actually Twilight's assistant. Twilight Sparkle is the main character of Generation 4. She starts off as a unicorn, and Spike is just a baby dragon, so obviously there's going to be some nuances as far as attention spans, and he has a crush on Rarity, the white pony, who's into fashion, and like, and I kid you not, like, almost throughout the entire series, he tries everything he can to get with Rarity. And I don't think he ends up with her near the end.
I don't know if I saw the ending, but not that I recall.
No, but Spike ends up being like a big dragon by the end of like season 9 because Friendship is Magic had 9 seasons, and I think Spike earned his wings either in season 7 or season 8.
I remember him earning his wings, but I don't remember him being a big dragon, so I definitely have more to watch.
So, Dragon from Shrek was into a donkey. Spike is into a horse. It seems like dragons have a type.
If you get into species-wise stuff with NLP, it is a complete mess, my guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna put Discord on here, but I don't think even though he's a Draconiquist, but I don't think he would account.
I was gonna say, as far as I'm concerned, he is a pony, and if this was a pony tier list, he'd be S. Discord is my favorite, but again, Draconiquist not counting. Fluttershy's my favorite.
Oh, I love Fluttershy. Also, I love Twilight because of Terra. Again, I have that bias, but Spike, I mean, just like the other ponies, he does have his own episodes. Some of them fare better than others. But he actually has some type of personal growth throughout the series. People see it, or not people, ponies and other different creatures like the dragons when they go to like the Dragonlands, and he meets Ember, like this blue princess dragon, I guess, that becomes like ruler of the dragons. He kind of has a little crush on her for a while, but people kind of treat him like a baby dragon because he looked like a baby dragon, and then he was able to slightly mature throughout the series. I said slightly. I didn't say fully. I said slightly.
I figured this isn't a perfect comparison, but I don't dislike Spike, but I do find him annoying. In the same way that I don't dislike Patrick from SpongeBob, but I do find him annoying. That's the comparison I've got.
Well, I don't know anything about Spike, but I agree. I kind of like Patrick, honestly, but I also hate him.
Yeah, because he's my Spike.
I mean, like I said, I mean, me personally, I want to put him at least in the B tier, because, again...
I think B, yeah.
Because I have, like, I will forever love Friendship is Magic. You will never stop me from watching Friendship is Magic.
Now, hold on for just a second. Because if we put him in B tier, we're saying that Spike is better than Smog.
Do you think that? Specifically movie Smaug, though, I'm like, I might say these two are a bit of a tie.
Alright. Jack's the one who's seen the more Hobbit movies, so if he's saying that, I'll actually on that.
I mean, the Hobbit movies they're nowhere near as good as Lord of the Rings. They're fine.
Yeah, Spike is... I mean, I was like, no. I don't care what you guys say. Spike, at
least... Poor Elliot is all by himself down there.
I know.
Sorry. Alright, I know this is Tad Cooper, but I don't know anything about him. But Neil, take it away.
S tier.
S tier?
S tier.
S tier?
Best dragon. Best dragon.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah.
Wait,
top of the list.
Even better than Toothless?
Yes. Tad Cooper is by far the best dragon ever.
Okay.
I feel like I don't need to explain why, but if I must, I guess I can. Tad Cooper is introduced in an episode where... Okay, so have you guys seen any of Gallivant?
Nope.
So Gallivant is kind of like... Imagine if Game of Thrones was a comedy musical, and that's kind of what fucking Gallivant is.
You've already sold me.
It's essentially... This guy is trying to get his wife back after the king married his wife. But it turns out his wife is evil and eventually overthrows the king himself. The king, I believe his name is King George? King John? God, history is fucking me up here. I might have to Google it. But the king gets disowned from the kingdom, and he actually has to team up with Gallivant. They barely escape, and they're like, well, we need to take back my kingdom. We need to take back everything. How are we going to do this? And the king goes off on his own for a little bit, and he returns and he says, Gallant, I got it. And he's all secretive, and he goes, I got a dragon. And then he pulls out this little lizard, and he says, this is Tad Cooper. And that begins the saga. So, essentially, the running gag with Tad Cooper is King Richard is his name. Richard believes he is a real dragon. Everybody else thinks he's a lizard, and that Richard is the dumbest person in the world.
Oh, so is it kind of like a Don Quixote type?
Well, here's the thing. I realize me wanting him to be an S tier is more of a gag in and of itself, because Tad Cooper does not do a ton. He is really just a running joke. I believe the big thing, and the reason why I wanted him on this list so bad, is because everyone in the show keeps saying he is not a dragon, he's not a dragon, but Richard insists. He goes, wow, no one believes in me that I can take my kingdom back. But you know what, Tad Cooper? No one believes you're a dragon either. But I believe in you, Tad Cooper. I super believe in you.
I have been on Google Images for the past 2 minutes, and that explains all the I believe in Tad Cooper memes, so yeah.
We all believe in Tad Cooper, Jack. He's earned that, because at the very end, the very last scene of the show, after a time jump, and after... I won't spoil the show, because it's a great show, but after things have ended out a bit better for King Richard, we see him walk outside, we don't know what he's doing, and he yells, Tad, come get dinner! And then you hear wings in the distance and fire, and the last line of the show is Richard with the smuggest look on his face, looking to camera going, I have a dragon. Look, I don't think he's gonna win S tier. I'll admit, I wanted him here just because he is a dragon, and I approve of him, but in my heart, Tad Cooper deserves the highest of praise.
I mean, that's the main reason why I put him on here, was because I'm like, I don't know any others. What do you guys suggest? And then you said Tad Cooper. I was like, okay.
I don't think I would know what I currently know put him in S tier, but I'm definitely watching this show because this sounds great.
Oh, dude. You'd love it. The songs are really fucking funny. Like, Weird Al shows up in season 2. He has a brief cameo in season 2.
Stop talking, Neil. I'm gonna watch it. Stop talking.
Okay.
You thought it was a spoiler.
But can you imagine if I was watching it and Weird Al showed up just out of nowhere and I didn't know it was gonna happen? Oh my god.
Oh, don't worry. You're gonna have that effect with other celebrities. I won't say that. But yeah, I'll admit he's a running gag. He's not even really his own character. I think there might be a joke where he does kill somebody once, even though he's still little. But I would say, honestly, compared to some of the other characters on this list, I would probably at the very least give him a C or a B tier. I do love this little dragon. And they do get into some plot stuff with him, like the reason they can't afford weapons or other things that would help them is because Richard put all of the money into Tad Cooper. So he does affect the plot, because they have to seek out allies they wouldn't have necessarily sought out had they not blown all their money on the lizard. I'd give him a high C tier or a low B tier for me.
From what I'm hearing, I think I'd put him in not being a massive fan of Spike and having not seen Dragon Tales. I think I'd put him below Jake Long. But again, I haven't seen Gallivant, and I also got my list.
I'd be okay with that. He's just a running gag. Honestly, I'd probably put him below the dragons from Dragon Tale, but I would put him above Spike just because of my own personal involvement with Spike.
Oh, God. Why does it always come down to me? Okay, no, because it's my list. I mean, I don't mind putting him in a B tier. I just... Neil, you're breaking my heart, man. Why? Spike didn't do anything.
But if you watch the show, you'd love him too.
Okay. Very well. I'll put him here.
Yay!
There, he's above Spike, so at least Spike is not last place, because I was so scared.
Poor Elliot.
I'm sorry, Elliot. It had to be somebody. I didn't realize it was gonna be you.
Honestly, looking at the list finished, I stick by this. Like, I would say, like, Toothless is probably the most iconic dragon character out of all these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people may disagree, but I don't care. So, that was a very nice 3 hours of ranking 20 dragons. I didn't realize it was going to be that long, but it's okay. I'm
2 hours and 28 minutes, but it's been a
Yeah, but that's our dragon tier list. Happy Chinese New Year when this decides to be posted, probably on Saturday. Not this coming up Saturday. I have 2 events going on. But February 10th is Chinese New Year, so that's when I'll be posting it. Fingers crossed if I actually remember. But yeah, this was a very nice mini crossover. I hope we get to do one of these type of things in the future. Because it's fun.
This was fun.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Yeah, like, I mean, we could do like another different tier list of whatever, but yeah. So...
Maybe we'll pick a different animal next time and do this again.
Okay.
Best crab character.
Best pig in media would be a bit of a debate, though.
I mean, when I think of pig, I think of like Wilbur from Charlotte's Web.
The two I think of are Miss Piggy and Waddles.
Oh yeah.
Waddles from Gravity
Waddles.
Waddles. Yeah.
There's a lot of pigs in cartoons, though, man. Like, it would be a hell of a list.
And then there's dogs. I
Let
mean,
us know. Do you want to
there's
see
so
the
many
pig?
dogs.
Oh, dogs would be a good one too, Sher. Good call on
I
that.
love dogs. I mean, I have 4 German Shepherds, so.
Goddard.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Maybe that we might do something like that in the near future. But other than that, that is the end, everybody. So, who wants to plug in first?
Well, don't be shy, Jack.
Aw, such a gentleman. Hello, welcome out there on the internet. I'm Jack of all trades. Link to my channel will be in the description below, probably, maybe. Over there, we're currently watching Adventure Time Fiona and Cake, the sort of sequel, spin-off, crossover. It's a bit of a mess exactly what it is, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah, that's what we're looking at in a minute on my channel. Ideally, in the next month or so, I'll be having my annual end of the year best movies, best TV shows, best cartoon sort of video come out. I'm still figuring that out exactly because I didn't do it last year after my laptop died and I lost all that footage. So I'm a bit shaky doing that again this year, but I will be having at least here's my top 10 movies of 2023 video coming out soon. So we can hop over there, check that out. And as I said, Fiona and Cake.
Alright. And Neil, you.
Jack, your plug was so elegant and official. So I feel like mine must not be. What up, bitches? Hey, how you doing? I came from the Dr. Neiltopus channel. That's my domain. We got some stuff coming out. We actually had a video premiere today. Oh, the first episode of me and Skylar playing through Mortal Kombat 1 story mode. I actually really like the story mode for Mortal Kombat 1. I know that's a little divisive in the fan community, but with how shitty the game's like getting with the microtransactions and such, I feel like the story mode stands above that and is pretty high quality. But also, we got other stuff happening. We got some Dead by Daylight on the channel. We got some other stuff coming. Check it out. Check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dr. Neiltopus if you want to watch this stuff live. And yeah, thanks for watching Sher's video. And if you know who Tad Cooper is, please comment your favorite Tad Cooper moment.
Yes, please do. And hello, y'all. You know who I am, Sharice from Sher from 2000. So you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. I don't care if it's called something else. I will never call it X. I'm calling it Twitter.
I call it the website formerly known as Twitter.
That's good.
Yeah, and Instagram. You can like and subscribe to this channel as well as my second channel, Share Your Creations. I actually recently created a celebrity version of 6, but based off of the people that the celebrities are based off of, like the queens. So I have like Beyonce and like Avril Lavigne, which I'm gonna see her in June because I got tickets for Avril Lavigne. So maybe I might do a top 10.
Cool.
I might do a top 10 Avril songs. So I might upload that on my second channel because I don't trust copyright stuff for this channel and I don't want my channel to be compromised. Yeah, and then I'm supposed to be graduating in May, which is also the same month where I'm supposed to be going on my family cruise for the first time. So I may or may not be able to post something here and there. I do, however, plan on talking about Wish and if it deserves all the hate that it's getting, because I have some thoughts about Wish that may or may not be positive or negative. Either way, someone's gonna come after me. But yeah, that's all I have. I mean, I might do some more tier lists, obviously, like Masked Singer related. I've been doing a lot of Masked Singer tier lists and other little tidbits here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyone have any last remarks besides justice for Spike?
Justice for Spike.
Justice for Spike. Also, I'm gonna.
I want to see the death battle where him and Tad Cooper fight. My money's on Tad.
All right. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Chinese New Year.